Genre doesn't really apply for me personally. It's just more what is on my playlist that I make at the time. So genre has kind of changed for me throughout the years with like what I find interesting and, you know, what I want to listen to at the time. So I started with house music. So I would fall asleep listening to house music, which is terrible for my ears. But it's just what I liked at the time. And then when I got a bit older, kind of in my mid-teens, it was more kind of rock and indie rock, a lot of classic rock. And then recently it's kind of a mix between indie rock and hip-hop. So yeah.
And do you feel like when you go to bed you have to focus on it to fall asleep, or have it sort of a white noise thing where you just you can't pay attention to it?
I think for me, I like having something on in the background for kind of to focus on it. So when I'm falling asleep, it's just kind of like I have so many thoughts going on at once, you know, stressing about like college or just like family stuff. So having something on in the background that is like familiar to me, I think it's nice to kind of, I focus on that and I focus on the kind of the rhythm and the different melodies, and that kind of helps me fall asleep a bit faster.
So things like heavy rhythm doesn't mess with you in any way? Because I know some people that, let's say my mum, if she listens to anything that has like a heavy bass rhythm, it kind of screws with her, like mentally. It helps you actually fall asleep? Does it calm you down? Is it the quality of it, or is it anything specific?
I think it depends on the song. Like certain songs, if there's something extremely annoying, like a heavy bass or like something really high pitched, I could not fall asleep to that. Like there are limits, but a lot of the songs I would fall asleep to would be kind of more mellow. Again, it would be familiar, so it wouldn't shock me in any way. So that's why I wouldn't be able to listen to any like AI generated playlists that I don't know what's going to come up, or like Smart Shuffle on Spotify. So I need to know exactly what songs are going to come up, if that makes sense.
And we discussed earlier before this that familiarity is a really important thing for you. So do you think that relates to like nostalgia, or is it, do you think there's anything else to it, or is it the fact that it's like comforting because you already know it? Like,
yeah, I think it's comforting because I do know it, and especially when I'm like in that mindset to like go to sleep and kind of shut off, just knowing that there's no nothing surprising coming up. Yeah, I guess it is familiar. I can't say that word. I'm sorry.
don't worry,
just knowing what's going to come up. I think that's kind of the best thing for me. And yeah, something a bit more mellow, probably for me, like guitar. If there's like a really nice kind of maybe like airy sounding guitar, or some like pad synths, that kind of like puts me in that mindset. Sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
Okay.
That makes sense. I was wondering actually, in terms of the kind of music, does it matter like the kind of pace of it? Like if I made something that's just really slow guitar or something like that, like something that just has loads of pauses and loads of like space in between, is that something preferred, or does it just really depend on the song? Could you listen to anything that's kind of, well, not faster paced, but something that has a lot going on? Do you know?
Yeah, I think I listen to kind of a mix. So I prefer something that has like a steady tempo, not per se like fast, but something that's kind of like,
yeah,
you know, it's there. And like, yeah, so like sometimes if I'm a bit fidgety, I'm a very fidgety person, so sometimes I'd still be tapping my foot or wiggling my leg or something when I'm falling asleep. So definitely like a slower tempo would probably help me get to sleep faster. But yeah, I'd definitely prefer a strong beat rather than like sporadic sounds here and there, because then I'd be listening to the music waiting for that to happen.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So I guess it kind of needs to be a bit more like simpler music, kind of a bit more repetitive, because then I think the familiarity then comes back in. Hey, I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
I said it.
Nice. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was, as I was researching, how to compose music for this sort of thing, Max Richter came up and he kept talking about how lower frequencies, this like sub area of the frequency spectrum, is really important. Do you get the sense that that's important for you? Does that apply to you? Do you listen to a lot of stuff with mainly like sub frequencies, or is it kind of a mix? Have you ever thought about that?
I've never thought about that personally. But I do find lower frequencies more soothing, I guess, than higher frequencies. I'm trying to think of songs, but I definitely find higher frequencies a bit more...
Top to the ear.
Yeah, a bit more like agitating, that song... In the Sunshine, that like my life, that synth is like ding, 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 like
too much. Yeah.
Too much. That's too much. But yeah, definitely something a bit lower, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right.